So marketing is one very serious topic that we shouldn't play with. In business, the marketing aspects of the department ensures that we have the demand for the product and services for which the company has designed, okay? So that is what the marketing team, they do, the marketing department. And in fact, they communicate the ideals of the company to the outside world, and they do it in so many ways. So marketing plays a significant role. Somebody will tell you that if you cannot sell or you cannot market, then it means you are out of what? Business, okay? Because business exists to provide product and services to their main clients. So we'll be looking at what marketing is about. We're looking at the techniques, the 4 P's of marketing. We have the 7 P's. I'm really going to talk about the 7 P's, but we are dealing with 4 P's for exam purposes. And then we deal with communicating value. Now, what value is, and your customer voice marketing goals, and the AIDA marketing funnel, and then marketing challenges. So just in about, I think, 45 minutes, we'll be done with this. So marketing has been defined by various artists. People have seen marketing from various perspectives. There are people who think that marketing simply means showcasing the product and services of the organization, but contemporary marketing definition has changed. And we are saying that marketing is communicating the true value of product and services to customer and shareholders or stakeholders, the true value. So it is in the value proposition of the product or services that you are projecting to customers. So why value? Now, customers buy something with the idea, or the product or service with the idea that they are going to benefit from that. For somebody who buys a product, he expects that the product is able to, as it were, meet a specific need. If somebody buys a service, the person wants to experience that service. So the idea is that that value proposition, or that value that the person is looking out for, is actually what the marketing department is communicating to the people. So we are saying that for companies, communicating value proposition of their product or services to customers and stakeholders is indispensable for survival. Of course, the business exists or survive on the demand they get from what? The customers. And it requires that the marketing team communicates that to the customers, so they could sell such product and service and make profit. So this is marketing and communicating the true value of product and services as a manager. And now you as a manager or a leader is very, very important. And you have to understand the fundamentals of it. So you might be in HR, you might be in engineering. It's important. And you see that this course is talking about certified management professional. They are saying that whatever field you find yourself, these fundamentals, these techniques, these tools, you should be able to, use them. You should understand and use it. So we are saying that due to the rise in technology and social media, the marketing arena or space have become very large. And beyond television commercials, we do so many things. On social media, someone can blast 1 million messages within 1 second, just to reach out some target marketing, target markets and all that. So it's important that you know where the space we find ourselves, and then we are not dealing with the conventional marketing, TV, radio, and the billboards alone, but we have a space where we can even target. If you've done Facebook ad before, you realize that if you are paying for to promote a certain product. They will ask you the kind of target you want to reach. And these things have been fused into some of these technologies, and then you can leverage on it. So sometimes marketing is confused with a simple act of selling or increasing sales. However, marketing is a channel companies take to grab the customer's attention and encourage them to make a purchase. Previously, people thought that when we talk about marketing, it's about selling. Selling is part of marketing. But to extend that, contemporary marketing strategies are looking at customer retention. And in fact, today, we are no more doing active selling, direct selling, DMD and all that, B2B and all that. That's not only what we are doing. We have transitioned to what we call relationship marketing, that the customer is an aspect, an extension of our business. And we see the customer as a stakeholder in our business. In fact, in other jurisdictions, they see them as shareholders. Why? If a customer contributes, let's say 5 or 10% to the sales or the revenues of the company, then they see that person as a co-partner, somebody who is a stakeholder in the business. So we are not doing this conventional marketing again, but we are doing relationship marketing, where the birthdays are celebrated, where when potential customers who are at tier 1, when they are bereaved, we go and then visit them. Why? Because we want them to know that they are part of us. And once you do that, the customer is also able to open up and also do some referrals for you. So it is often the first step in building relationship with customer and building brand recognition in the market. The market is loosely defined as a medium where customers and sellers with shared interest and desire conduct what? Business. With shared interest and desire. That's what a market is. You have customers and sellers who meet at that market. They have all shared interest and what? Desires. The reason is that you have a product that somebody needs. So meets there, and then we exchange. We do the exchange. The person gives you money, and then you give the person the product. Therefore, it is necessary for marketers to find customers in a target market who will purchase what their product. And that is why marketing function is very, very important. And many people confuse the act of marketing with the act of selling. We've talked about it. And both involve the act of encouraging customers so that they make the purchase. And selling occurs when the customer purchases the product or service. But marketing, however, is the art of grabbing. They use the word grabbing the potential customer's attention, and which will hopefully lead to what? A purchase. You are grabbing the attention of the customer. And I've also explained that we have gone a step ahead in now creating what relationship. And the goal of marketing is to leave an impression on the customers and make your brand more recognizable and memorable to them. There was something I was doing whilst I was working in my former company. I decided to brand my personal brand. And I believe that most of you don't probably do that. Maybe some do. When I started working, from my service time to when I was given contract and became a manager, what I was doing was that I was wearing certain types of dresses, and suits. And I was consistent with it. Now, guess what happened? One time I came to work and I was in mufti. Trust you me, no one saw me. No one thought that I was around. I passed by, climbed the steps, went up. A client came looking for me. They told the client I was not around. They called my office. I picked the call. The receptionist said that they didn't see me today. Why? Because they didn't see me in that apparel. So branding is very, very important. That's one of what we are dealing with, but it's very, very important that you create a personal brand. And that personal brand should be communicated in a way that creates that impression about yourself. Okay, so the key to marketing is providing knowledge about your company and your product, service, or brand. Your brand is what sets you apart from the competition. It's what sets you apart. At the point in time, people thought that I was preparing myself to become the director general. It led to so many things, and I was amazed because of the way I was dressing. And the guy said the guy looks like a manager because it's a personal brand I was creating. And the more customers know about your brand, the more desirable the end sale becomes to the customer. And building the brand and the brand awareness are the key points of marketing that can set, you apart from set it apart from what's selling. One of my mentors, recently I got to know him, Professor Hinson, Boison, who is now the Pro VC of our university. He says branding, people consider branding like life itself. Life itself. And I was amazed. He's the top marketing researcher in the world now, in Africa now, rated the top market researcher. And it was just amazing. Okay, when I heard that, I said that this man is a serious, he's looking at things from a different, perspective. So branding is like life itself. Okay.
So,
okay, hello. So, as I was saying, the goal of marketing is to leave an impression on the customer, on the consumers, and making your brand more recognizable and memorable to them. And we are also saying that the key to marketing is providing knowledge about your company and your product, service, or your brand. Your brand is what sets you apart from the competition, which I just indicated. And the more customers know your brand, the more desirable the end sales becomes to the customer. Building the brand and the brand awareness are key points of marketing that can set it apart from what's selling. Okay, so I've already explained that, but in branding, it's like life itself. You know, it's as if some companies, that's the extent to which they take branding. They don't play with it at all. It's like the air they breathe. Because a negative media coverage about your brand is going to cost you a lot. There was a time, I think one of these online shops, I don't know whether it was Walmart or so, there was this issue about they using infants, for their labor, and this thing received a serious negative effect. Coca-Cola also had experience. People seeing somebody saw a cockroach in the bottle and it ended somewhere. And sometimes when these things happen, there's a serious drop, okay, in the demand of the product itself. So branding is very, very, and when you have a very strong brand, even when these things happen, because of the fact that the brand is very strong, you're able to survive the market. So to create an effective marketing strategy, ask yourself the following questions, and these are areas that you should look at, possible areas in the question. So what does the customer want? There is a difference between a want or a need. And what does the customer need? What is the value proposition? And what makes the customer want to buy from you, but not other people? You need to ask yourself these questions. Because what makes the customer want to buy from you rather than from other person is simply because of your brand. And because you have built the brand very well, people are buying the product. The product itself is not what they are buying, but they are buying the brand. And let me give you an example. Benz, Mercedes-Benz. It's a luxurious vehicle. People buy with this this pride that Benz is second to none. It has to be Benz. But you realize that some of the features of Benz is actually in Hyundai and other vehicles. But the brand is such that people, it has become prestigious and people would want to buy still that brand, okay? So that's what makes somebody wants to buy from you, because you have a very solid, brand. But you need to ascertain whether the customer wants that product or needs it, and that what is the value that you are selling. And before you can begin to market your company product or service, you must define what it is and what it can do for the public. So the features of the product is very, very important. The service, if you are rendering a service. Okay, so for instance, this platform, certified management professional. So what is the brand and what are we selling? Are we able to communicate the value very well to the people that at the end of this course, what are you likely to get out of this? What are the benefits? What are the employment opportunities? Okay, and what are the core skills that you can develop out of what this studies, even if you're having your own business that you are running? These are things that we should be able to do to impress on the mind of, we fix this thing in the mind of the customer, and then over time it becomes something big. Okay, if you look at Lexus, if somebody, or Chrysler, those vehicles, once you mention, it goes with a certain thinking. They think that these are people who are high, standard or caliber, and that they want classy things and all that, because that's what they have been able to build the brand to, and they do this very carefully. Now, outline specific characteristics along with the pros and cons of having it, and outline how it can benefit consumers and what it can offer them once they buy it. What is the value? And most times we don't do that, okay? We are running businesses, and sometimes the services that we are rendering, we are not able to outline what actually we are rendering to the people and what are the benefit, the specific benefit, and why should you buy from us? Why should you buy from us? And when I finish, I'm going to ask you those questions. Remind me, I'm going to ask you these questions relative to what you're doing in your business. These pieces should bring the product puzzle together and help the marketer achieve a clearer picture, or clear picture of what is being offered to the customers. Okay, so this just to give you a background of what the marketing concept is all about. But marketing is a big deal. It's one part of the whole organization, or the department, the whole organization that actually brings the revenue. They bring the revenue. It is the marketers. They go to the market. They come with ideas. I think there's a demand for a certain product. Can we leverage on this product? Can we benchmark this company? Can we do that? They come with the strategies. And then out of their innovativeness, a product is constructed. They connect with the engineering department, the operations department, finance, look for the money. But they make sure that demand is what's driven, okay? And they bring the business, and then the other departments start working on it. And that is why marketing function is very, very important. Now, there are techniques, marketing techniques we need to look at. And when we talk about techniques, these are methods, approaches that we use in marketing. And it's important as managers, we understand these things. And we say as customers, we know that there are many ways companies market their products or their ideas or their service, including television ads. They do newspapers, flyers, websites. But today we are on social media doing marketing. Sometimes it can be confusing to determine which methods or approaches of marketing that will work for a particular product. There are some products that will not work on social media, no matter how you look at it, okay? It might not work, especially when you are selling a product like, let me take the Mercedes-Benz, for instance. It's good to put it online, but it's more of a very target market strategy, because people who want to use Mercedes-Benz might really go to the main site and then read about it. It's not that, I don't know whether you've seen Mercedes-Benz blasting maybe 2 million to everyone for everyone to see. I mean, they are not targeting you. They know the class they would have to, target. But if you familiarize yourself with the different ways of marketing available, you can then make a decision of which particular approach to use. So most of us, our problem is that we are unable to identify which kind of platform we can use for some specific product and service. I think I was sharing the same thing with Gideon when they started this thing, and I was telling them that they were doing more ads on the television and all that, and they said they do social media, and we are discussing that. The question is that how many people, this course, how many people do you think need this? Which targets market do they need? Yes, if I were you, I would have said that. For those who have just come out of school, they would need this, but it is not something that it's a do or die matter. But these are for business executives, people who have been in the system, those who are managing their own business and they think that they need to upgrade themselves, and those like the likes of David, who they have all the certificate, but they think that they need some knowledge, and this will give them some leverage. And there are a number of them like that, okay? Pearl, Winnie, and others, Mohammed, they have their own business, but they say they want to do this in addition. So you could even use this one as a teaser, okay? Knowing the demographic of these people and then leverage on them to hit that market you want to hit. This is free consultancy, okay? There are several marketing techniques such as the direct marketing, the active marketing, the incoming marketing, and then outbound marketing, the guerrilla marketing, the B2B, and the B2C, and the promotional one. Now, when we talk about direct marketing, which is the first one, it's a form of marketing that allows the business to advertise directly, that you get direct to the customers, okay? And then consumers. And some example would be taking the emails of the people, blasting their phone numbers, blasting or sending e-catalogs to them, and distributing sometimes flyers. When you are driving, they give it to you direct. These are all forms of what direct marketing. And then also there is the active marketing. The active marketing is also another way for marketing. And this one is similar to direct marketing in that it still focuses on the individual consumers, and we want to know their wants and their needs. However, the approach these people follow is different. So what they do is they approach and follow up is the follow-ups is much different. That approach and follow-up is much different. While the active marketing aims to build relationship with the customer and use fewer tactics to lure them, the other one, the direct one, just deal with them directly. This one, they are using some sort of techniques that's to lure them and also maintain some sort of what relationship with them. And with this method, the marketers will focus on specific customer who is addressed individually. Okay, so we deal with, we try to individualize the whole thing, customize it to fit that particular person. For example, a telemarketer phone call addresses the individual customer, or a networker meets with customer face to face. So I've sent a mail to you. After sending a mail to you, I follow up with what an appointment that I want to meet you. I come to your office, okay? That is more of active marketing. The most common active marketing methods are online, since they usually provide more ways to form relationships, such as blogs, online forums, and even instant chatting. The person comes online and then you are chatting the person, as long as the marketer is interacting with the people and not just posting materials to them. So the direct marketing, I would have sent this thing to you, you have, but I might not do the follow-up. But the active marketing, I'm really being more personal and I'm individualizing the whole thing to make sure that I can interact further with you and use some techniques to lure you. And there are several marketing techniques such as direct marketing, active marketing, incoming marketing, outbound marketing, guerrilla marketing, B2B, B2C, and promotional marketing. And let me tell you this, These things you see here are actually the focal areas you need to look for at when you're writing the exams, because they rehash it. I've already talked about it, but it's something, and I am also doing it deliberately to throw your more to how to put it, to bring your mind or your attention to this, so that you know that that is the main areas you are looking at. We also have the incoming marketing, which is also known as inbound marketing. If you know about the Michael Porter value chain, you know about the inbound services. You have the operations and the outbound, the marketing and sales, and the support and service. So this incoming or inbound marketing. And we are saying that this type is designed to draw the customers by providing information and providing opportunities to inquire back for more through social media. So Facebook is an example, and Twitter is also an example, or a company blog. But this form of marketing is typically one-sided, since the company will often bombard the consumer with information and wait for their return. So more like the direct marketing, okay? It is like the direct marketing. So the interaction is not there, just as the one we talked about, that is the active marketing, okay? So this is more one-sided. The company throws more information on. And these techniques can be used at various times. It's not that they are bad, some are bad, but you can apply based on the product you are dealing with. There are some products that when you put out there, you don't need interaction. You rather need more to provide more information for the person to read, okay? Some products are just like that. So with these tactics, the company is hoping to address the wants or needs of the customers and let them know that the company can fill them. And incoming marketing makes it easy for consumers to find their product online, search engines and catalogs by using precise keywords to do so. Okay, when you go online right now, if you're a researcher and you want to search for a particular article, you know what to do. So that is more of an inbound kind of thing. It's always provided there, and you would want to go and search. Some of us who have subscribed to some of the services, they send an alert that there's a new article that might interest you. So you go in there and work with it. And then there's the outbound marketing, where outbound marketing is in a similar ways like the active. Just as the incoming is like the direct, the outbound is like the active marketing, because it's set out to introduce a product and service to customers, and even if they are not necessarily looking for it. Okay, so now we are putting out there what customers might not necessarily need, but we are telling them that, hey, we have this product. And this is a traditional method of marketing, and it includes television, commercials, radio ads, banners, and all that, web pages. And it's often the easiest way to market to customers, because the company can advertise information in many different ways and target more people at once. They can put them, I mean, in a certain target and then throw the information on them. They give out enough information to make customers aware of what they have to offer and then lead them back to the company. So then the interaction that active marketing has, the outbound marketing has the same. And it is like casting an open net into the ocean and hoping to catch a certain number of fish. And while this will bring in customers and spread the word about your company, you may also be very cautious when it comes to the expenditure, because now you are not targeting. Okay, they're not targeting customers. You are throwing it wide, expecting that you have them and they interact with them. So that's outbound marketing. And then we have the guerrilla marketing. And that is a type of marketing that utilizes these unconventional methods that are meant to excite the customers. So the marketers call it to wow them, okay? And common example include flash mobs and billboard, graffiti, and then also things that are not really what we do in marketing. In fact, they are not scripted, and An example is that it says, have you ever seen a sticky note mosaic on the side of a door or window, or set of power print decals on the floor leading to a pet food store? Sometimes what they do is, and an example is this, people can put certain flyers, right, even on their vehicles. Churches put this thing that they hang in the vehicle, okay? They just put an ad there and then they give it out. Some other taxi drivers build something on top of their car, okay? Which is normally not something that is conventional that we know. And the point is that it's meant to wow the people, okay? Maybe you go to the mall and then somebody decides to, I've not seen it there yet, that even at the floor, decide to create some sort of art there. So by all means, whilst you are walking, you will see it, okay? So these are things that they do. And these marketing tools are typically over-exaggerated, of course, and unconventional, and they appear in unacceptable places. And like I said, unacceptable places. I don't know, somebody drew Henneken on he used it as a tattoo, okay? And went to the stadium and opened up. And everybody was, I mean, the cameras they were on him. And I believe that that gave Henneken some sort of upscale, because it's not conventional. And well, as we said, they are meant to create a unique visual perspective and engage the consumer imagination. Although the displays and attractions appear large scale, sometimes they have a low cost since they rely on time and imagination rather than money alone. So maybe we go to the stadium and we are there waiting for the match to start. Like Winnie went to the stadium the other time, traveled outside, and all of a sudden you see an aircraft, maybe the small one, with Coca-Cola banner, okay, at the bottom, and then flying, okay. It's going to catch everybody's attention, right? It's going to catch, and it's for a short time. You look at where they have the largest audience, and they put this thing in, okay. So on the downside, however, some people find guerrilla marketing tasteless and offensive, because they think that you need their permission to even enter into that space that you did. So people don't really, other people see it as offensive because they just want to do something to wow you. But some people also think that their personal space, you don't need to enter. And that's why we are saying that this is unconventional. Then we have the B2B marketing, and that is business to business marketing. We are dealing business, one business marketing to the other business. And this kind of marketing happens in that space. We said that in terms of B2B, marketing is often greater than marketing to normal customers. And these are huge. So you have, for instance, Walmart working with this guy's company, what do you call it? Maybe trading with Facebook, for instance. Okay, these are huge companies who are working. It could be between manufacturers, it could be between retailers or suppliers who are doing huge business. So we call that B2B. And this is because businesses secure pathways or network with other, businesses and to help them themselves. Sometimes, if you see the supply chain, the upstream, you have maybe first tier and second tier suppliers. So the first tier are the original manufacturers of whatever product, and then they give it to the second tier. So between the first tier and second tier, the second tier also add some sort of value to it. So between them, these are huge businesses who are trading with each other, okay? Or like a law firm also offering a service to another law firm, okay? Or game discount stores, doing business with Papaya, Okay, these are huge business. We call them the B2B. And then we have the normal B2C, which is the business to the customer, where the business, does business with customers. And these are all models. The B2C could be either guerrilla marketing or active marketing or direct marketing could all fall under B2C, because the business dealing with what the customer. Okay, it could fall under that. And we are saying that the ultimate goal for B2C marketing is to turn the customer from a shopper to a purchaser. There are shoppers who go around and then they go and feed their eyes without really buying anything. Okay, there's a term used for it where you go and then shop. And shopping means that you ask the price of this, you ask the price of this without even buying the product. Okay, people do that. And a lot of people go to the mall to do that, just to interact with people. They won't buy anything. These are shoppers. So sometimes when you see the traffic in your premise, it doesn't really mean that people really buy the product. So that is the goal, is to turn them towards the market. And these marketing tactics usually includes direct methods that attract customers in the moment, such as stores, vouchers, and sales discounts. And many companies use B2C marketing to help build loyalty programs. So you see loyalty programs, you buy a product, and then there's a program attached to it that you buy the product to a certain volume, and then you are given a voucher, and then there's something that is added to it. These are all loyalty programs that are organized. For example, they offer customers coupons and purchase rewards for continuing to buy from them. So you've seen some of these things. They ask you to take the cover or the container, you bring 10, and then you are given about 3 or 2 of that same product. These are all loyalty programs and while this type of marketing will bring in many customers, it can be difficult to maintain if the company does not keep up with the competition. And that offers the better reward. Please, if you have any questions, just write it down so we can discuss. We also have the promotional marketing. And as the name implies, similar to the B2C marketing, promotional marketing is used to entice customers and to make decision quickly. Okay, so on the spur of the moment, they will do something. So some promotion, buy one, get one free, and then people are just excited. Or they reduce the price drastically. For a short period. It's a form of promotion, okay? Most times when they are on floats, okay, they do that. They put there's a band on a long vehicle where there's a float, and then they'll be making noise about the product, while some of the sellers or some of the agents who are selling, they are at other areas in that same vicinity also showing the product, and they will be telling you that this one after today is going to cost $10, and now it is $5. Okay, so you want to take advantage of it. It's all part of the promotional marketing. And the idea of promotional marketing is to position the product within that space, okay, to position the brand, to create more awareness about the product. And customers love taking a chance of for a big price, especially for things they would normally buy, and they will be drawn to these rewards and incentives. And this is the time promotional marketing is another useful tools of building customer loyalty. And however, it is important not to make the timing too predictable. Customers will wait exclusively for promotional marketing incentives to buy. I know people who do that. They will say that, oh, the last time I'm waiting for your Xmas bonanza where you reduce prices by 40%. I'm waiting for that before I buy. Some people, so you implement promotional marketing carefully so it doesn't become routine, because people would want to save money during those times. Now, having said about these techniques, let's talk about what we call the 4 P's in marketing. Okay, 4 P's in marketing. So let's talk about that. So I want to talk about the 4 P's in marketing. Actually, if you are dealing with the product and a service, you will not deal with 4 P's. You are dealing with what? 7 P's. And for the 4 P's, you are dealing with product, price, place, and promotion. If you add service, you are dealing with people, physical evidence, and what? Process. Okay. So here we are talking about the 4 P's. And what is the 4 P's? 4 P's has to deal with it's a marketing mix, a strategy that is used, and to tell you the truth, the 4 P's is still relevant, but it has been extensively used. Okay. And there's something called the product life cycle, how a product starts at the stage that is developed and introduced to the market, it grows when it goes to a certain period, and then you get to maturation, and then the product declines. Okay. Now, what normally happens is that they have some products which have a very short life cycle. They are introduced into the system, and then all of a sudden they decline. And I can give you a typical example. You heard of Quench. It was a drink called Quench. It came, it's never survived. I've heard of cassava beer. People say they are still in the system, but I mean, it never didn't get that kind of clouds that we were expecting. And a number of products that have phased off within the shortest possible time could not stand the test of time. Okay. Carnation milk is there, but carnation milk has not been projected just as what? Ideal milk, because I think that the brand kind of the branding in terms of the star product is actually Ideal Milk, which is projecting the company. Maybe Carnation has become a cash cow. People are still buying it, but yet it's not being what projected. So these 4 P's are very, very important. And let me give you an industry experience rather than for academic one. Now, when we talk about the first P, which is the product, what are we looking at? We are looking at the physical features of the product, that the product is a good. Is it properly packaged? Now, when you consume it, does it give you that satisfaction that you expect? So you're talking about the physical component of the product, how it is designed, how it's packaged, whether it's handy. These things are very important when you are talking about what the product is. So we are saying that product is what the company sells, and it may be an object, it may be a service or a program. So the product is created to meet the target audience needs, and which gives the product value to the customer. Product typically run the course of what their usefulness in the basic life cycle, which comprises of the introduction, growth, maturation, and decline. Let me give you an example. This product, Guardian soap. Guardian soap is the small ones. Live Wall came, and I'm told it's still in the system, but Guardian soap, it has outlived its product life cycle. But why? It has become a cash cow. People are still buying it. In other words, the company is not spending too much money in advertising the product. But it has not declined because people are buying it. They are producing it, right? So there are some products that gets to maturation, then it stays there. It doesn't decline. Others decline. And over the period, what companies do is that they come in with rebranded strategies, changing the cover, giving it a new name, just to, that one happens to a product that they see that, no, it has at the maturation, but it's likely that it's going to decline. Then they bring in some of these strategies just to, protect that product from falling. And we have price. Price has to do with what you pay in exchange of the value the company is offering, to you. So we are looking at pricing strategies, and one has to be very complex, careful that you do not price the product too high, that people will think that you are pricing sensitive, or you price it low, that they think that the product is inferior. So having an optimized level of pricing is very, very important for what you are doing. So we are saying that the second stage of marketing mix is the price, and the price is what the customer pays, and it affects what they're purchasing. So high price will discourage, I've said about this, but low price may also sometimes require a cut in what the product quality. People might think that that is it. So pricing is complex, but there are two basic pricing methods. We have the value-based and the cost-based. The value-based method of pricing is what the company believes the customer is willing to pay for the product. And for example, parking may be based on value-based system rather than what the cost of what the space itself, the parking. It will be based when you're parking a vehicle. You'll be based on a value-based. So value-based pricing is driven by supply and demand. It's driven, if the demand goes high, then it means that the price will go high. On the other side, the cost-based pricing is based on what the product actually costs us to make. It's not the value. And the costs are added up, and the price is, and then the price is based on what it takes to cover the cost and make a profit. So maybe 20% margin, 15% margin, 10% margin profit. We'll aggregate the cost. Their finance department does that. They do their feasibility analysis, and then they put a margin on it. So this is how much we're making. So pricing could be that. There's also another tangent to that where people are using Michael Porter's, pricing strategies. There's what we call their generic strategy to look at how best they can create a niche and then give some sort of premium price to that particular product or service. So I give you an example. When you go to, for instance, Nestle Ghana, for instance, okay, they do Idle Milk, right? Idle Milk is sold in Accra, very expensive. I hear it's about what, 11 cities or so. I don't know whether that is right. So, but it goes to Central, it's the same price, right? But it gets to Kumasi and then it drops to, let's say, 10 cities. So why? Because in Kumasi, the cultural settings is different. What they consider as food, at 6 a.m., there's a food that is being pounded, okay, or it's ready. And their dessert is taking rice. So they don't take tea in the morning. So you realize that in such circumstance, the company would have to model a pricing strategy that will help. But when you come to Accra, Greater Accra, in the Western and the Central region, where people like breakfast with tea, then it means that it makes sense. Now, another example is, getting into the bank. And then you realize that their customers have been segregated into different categories. You have, or categorized into different groups, different categories. You have the premium or prestigious customers who can just walk in and get their checks paid in or withdraw, and they can take a coffee, all right, or something, or they can meet the bank manager. They can even send the money to their office. These people pay a premium price, a little bit. Remember, it is the same edifice that is being used to render the same service, but you will be in queue. So Michael Porter, other than Ansoff, was more price sensitive, or using pricing strategy to create a niche without improving on the product itself, okay? But then with Ansoff was interested in developing the features of the product and then developing also the market as well, okay? So pricing is very, very important, and the way you peg your pricing will whether show that you want to serve the broader market, or you are creating niche within that same market using Michael Porter's pricing strategy, or whatever you want to use it for. So then we have promotion. Promotion has to do with advertising, selling, publicity, word of mouth, etc. So any communication about the value or the benefit of the product that you do to offer to customers is part of what promotion. And we do so many things to promote the product, okay? Sometimes we even do get a morning show slot or a very hot hour where there is news and then you slot your ad there. It's a form of promoting the product. And that comes at a very huge cost, sometimes 30 seconds. I mean, adverts. Just imagine Dangote does adverts on CNN, and then Glow also does the same. So a few seconds, and then it comes in. That flash, because at that time, at the peak, you have about 10 million people watching, and you want to slot, your product ad there. So that's a form of promotion. Then we have the place. Place, we are talking about the distribution network. All right. Place could mean the shelf position of the product. It could also mean in the distribution network where you have the wholesaler, retailer, and the customer. Where are we getting the product to the final consumer? Because these guys who are going to carry the product to the customer. The more elongated you have the distribution network, the more complex and the movement of the product, the more handling cost that comes, and warehousing cost, and all other things. But if the company reduces the number of intermediaries in the system, it makes it very easy for the pricing of the product to come. Sometimes they have a kind of a price, what they call it, a ceiling price for the product, so that you cannot sell more than that. I necessarily do the same thing to control the pricing. But if you have a product and a product in Tema, and the product should always be in Navrongo, how do we use the distribution channel to get a product to Navrongo so that it gets newsletters today? When they print it, it has to get to those places so that they can read. It has to be distributed to the entire country. So how do we do that within that shortest possible time? Because at 12 o'clock, the newsletters or the graphic or times, of course, it loses its value. So how do we get it? Is it through flight? Do we send it through flight? We used to not have flight to these areas, but all these areas, how do they get it? So then place becomes very, very important. And your distribution network strategy is key to achieve that. So the place is where the customer purchases the product or receives the product. Having the product reach the customer typically affects the price in the marketing matrix. And the place will vary according to each business and needs of the customer. For example, an exclusively online business will not need a storefront, but will need a storage facility. And the method of delivery must also be chosen based on what the customer and the business needs. Okay. Sometimes if you go to the mall, you realize that there are some products when you enter there in fact, the front. And these people, that space alone, they are paying hugely for it. It's strategy that when you just enter, it meets you. Okay, it gives visibility. There are other products that are also down there. You have to go to the end before you know that those products are there. They have also been shelved, but those who have paid more, they have the front line to showcase what their product. So that is also very, very important. And so these are the 4 ones, but let's talk about the other 3. We have, if in the case of service, you have what? The physical evidence. The physical evidence, we are referring to the physical place where the service is delivered. If in the case of a service, in a bank, it's a banking hall. We are talking about the edifice. We are talking about how nice the place is. There's something called aesthetics, okay? That's what we are talking about, the ambience, okay? How congenial the places. There are new banks that you enter, there's a coffee maker, there's this. People want that feeling. They want that environment that they can conduct business. Now there are machines that you can generate tickets and then you could be called upon. Car bank, for instance, is not using checks anymore. So you go and then there's a self-service where you enter everything and it gives you you sign on it. They've reduced that check printing and all that advance. So you sit as your turn, they call you, and then you are good to go. Amazing. So you could decide as a matter of a choice to compare 2 or 3 banks and decide where to say it because of the physical, evidence. And then we have the process. If you get to the bank, which is another P, the question is that, is the process of delivering the service complicated or complex or elongated? Is the lead time that the lead time of the service very long? So sometimes you go to the bank, and I do this most of the time. I go to the bank, and then once I get in, I set my time. And that is the time I entered into the bank. And then I sit, and then when it is time for my time and I'm being called on, it's my turn, I also stop the time and then start it again. So I know that it took me, I sat for, let's say, 15 minutes or 20 minutes. And then when I start again, because now the true delivery of the service, what we call the moment of truth, is about to happen. And then you realize that it took just a matter of maybe a minute for the teller to serve you. So when I'm done, I walk into the manager's office. Then I tell manager, I just did this test and I just want you to see. The fact that people are entering into the bank doesn't mean you are receiving money, because the time of receiving the money is actually maybe plus or minus 2 minutes. That's what this teller, how fast this teller is. Let's assume it's even five minutes. So you come to the bank and spend 20 minutes sitting. What you are producing here is waste. 20 minutes, you don't know what is happening. Now, these people are consuming air condition, wear and tear of the place, because you are not delivering the service very fast. All right. So they will be depleting the facility because people are around. The air condition must be put high and all that. They are occupying the space. But you are not using the fixed input, which is the fixed assets, to deliver the service very fast in order to make profit. And that's why you guys are not making profit. And then the guy looks at me and said, Charlie, this is deep. I said, yes, because the moment of truth is about what? Just 2 minutes. Okay. And these are things that they would have to look at. So if the process is complicated, it becomes an issue. So ask yourself as a manager, your service delivery, the product that you deliver to people, how fast are you able to deliver the product to the people? How fast are you able to render what the service? That is very, very important without compromising on quality. And the last one is about the people who are delivering the service. So there's not out of place that the banks put the very nicest young guys and then ladies at the front desk. Why? Because those guys should be appealing to look at. They should be very dressed well, and they give them dressing allowance. You see, even their complimentary card, their pen, and everything is kind of modeled in a way that you see that this is the company. If you're talking to this person is representing the company. So that person who is delivering the service, the way he speaks to you, all right, the way he's able to interact with you, no matter how angry you are, when you come to the bank and you see that pretty face, you will calm down. Or that young, handsome guy, you will calm down. The people who are delivering the service, the company have to equip them with the requisite skills and competencies and make sure that they are presentable and they are able to offer that customer care that is required. Okay, so that is about the 3 P's, which is not part of this. Now we can talk about value. Now, the value people get from a service or product, okay, it's the satisfaction they receive from that product or service when consumed. In fact, there's always the perceived value, and there's also what the expected value. The perceived, the one that has been communicated, it is perceived. And I made an example the other time that I created one that you go to a chop bar and then you see a drawing of the food, an inscription, okay? And then the soup looks like red and all that. Then you go there and then you see the soup looks something else. It becomes an issue. So the perception and actually the expectation, there's a gap. And the marketers will tell you the service gaps, there are a lot of them. There's a gap between perception and expectation. Okay, so what we are saying is that poor or unfocused communication will not help close a sale. Communication requires practice, understanding of value, and entertainment. It is also essential that all communication occur through the media that will best reach the customer. So as a manager, you might consider the marketing pitch. The marketing pitch is a traditional method of communication that if it is done correctly, it will create interest in your product. And if it is done incorrectly, potential customers will lose interest quickly. So the pitch may take place in a person online. However, regardless of the method, there are still these basic steps that will improve the process of the pitch. Now, if you are communicating there, and I see my Pro BC doing this. He's a marketing guru. Okay, I see him doing these things every day. Okay, be concise. He sends some sort of ads, some marketing tips every morning, every day. He's been doing, and there's a video on it, a broadcast, and he's been consistent, very, very concise. He's able to send the message, okay, what he wants to send to the customer. So we are saying that be concise. Pitches, you need to be short and focused. 30 seconds, that's what he says, to 5 minutes, depending on your situation. A pitch is an introduction, so do not overload it with information, okay? Never ramble. And we have done this. Let me give you a typical example. GCT, Uganda Communication Technology University, was awarded as the institution, the best institution in our excellent institution in capacity building, okay, in procurement and supply chain in Africa. So if I want to put a pitch on this, 30 seconds, okay, and I want to sell the brand of Ghana Communication Technology University, what I would have done is simple. I would have said in 30 seconds, I have to say all that. Okay, I would have said that, okay, GCTU recently was adjudged as the best institution in capacity building in Africa, okay? And I would have said that among the Fortune 500 company, they have indicated that all their CEOs have taken a course in supply chain, okay? We provide you with the requisite skills and competencies to be able to deliver your supply chain agenda. Enroll in our coming program, on certain dates. I'm done. 30 seconds, I'm done. What did I say? I have said that the company has been adjudged #1 company, institution of excellence in capacity building in Africa. That has been done. Secondly, what did I say? I said, if you take the Fortune 500 companies in the world, their CEOs, they would have, each person would have taken a course in supply chain. That is also another big hit. And then the third one is the fact that you have to enroll with us because we give you that skill and competencies. I'm done. In 30 seconds, I'm done with that. Okay, so we are saying that it says, be concise, write it down, write down your pitch ahead of time and focus on the few unique selling points. I demonstrated the selling point to you. We could do a pitch with this certified management professional course where if we do it well, and if Gideon is listening to me, if you do it well, I can tell you the demand for this thing will go up. The next time we are meeting here, we'll be dealing with about 100 people. That pitch is very, very important. So that is your selling point. And then practice your pitch in a mirror in front of others and make changes as necessary. Okay, so communicating value, that is very, very important. We are saying that we use the pitch, okay, strategy. It could be a broadcast, it could be something very short, a short video, just to announce this to them. And when communicating with customers, it's also important to remember that communication should be all facts and figures, okay, all facts and figures. While it's important for potential customers to understand everything, that you have to offer, you need to catch and maintain their interest. Okay, so what do you do to achieve that? Fun and entertaining communication will easily catch the interest of your target market. Fun and entertaining is something that will excite them. The person who is even doing the ad, I mean, if you look at his demeanor, as if that he's angry. Okay, there's nothing like, I mean, smiling. There's no urgency. Okay, that thing is not there. Additionally, entertaining content will help customers forget about you. That will help customers that you are trying to sell them something. Okay, entertaining content will help customers forget that you are trying to sell them something, and they are likely to discuss the marketing attempt with others. They will even forget, because they see that you are providing, what you are providing is of value. So for example, consider the commercials that air during the Super Bowl, and in our case, maybe during Command most time, where during the drive time, you see MTN comes in, bam, there's an advert, okay? And then there's some goodies that they were given to people. They just sell the brand all of a sudden within that space, okay? And MTN started this, Vodafone also started this health thing where the Heroes of Champions, these became something, a brand that people were following, because they knew that once they buy credit, you have some going the Heart Foundation and all that, okay? So voice communication is very, very important. Now we talk about your customer voice. Now we talked about the company having that communication voice, the communicating what the value, I mean, through the company's voice, okay? But for the customer also, what are we looking at? Communication is never one way. So once you are telling people of the value, the customers, you should get their feedback. In fact, most companies have been able to perfect their program or their product or their service because of customer feedback. Some people take it as life itself, because see, the feedback is really what is going to tell you, I mean, give you that kind of response, whether the product is doing well or not. Whilst other companies do not concentrate on feedback, feedbacks are very, very important. And I can tell you this. I think the first time I had interaction with you, I was trying to get feedback. I told Gideon to do a survey and all that. I do that because what I want to do is that in my next lecture, I should be able to improve on what I have done and correct the mistakes, so that I'll be able to be a better person. The facade thing, the side of me that people are not able to see. You see them, so I'm able to improve on it. Companies should do that, and they should listen to what the customers, okay? So without what your customers communicate with you is just as important as what you communicate with them. If not more so, you need to listen to and value communication from customers. When they are talking, listen. There are some people, once customers are complaining, they think that this guy, he complains too much. That is the person that is bringing the business to. He is bringing the cash, he's bringing the revenue. So why won't you listen to him? Okay. Sometimes listening to the customer doesn't mean you're solving the problem. You are only saying that whatever he's saying matters. Okay. They will provide valuable information that can guide your company to succeed. When your customers communicate, you must respond, whether it is on or an individual, one or an individual or a group. And let me tell you, while other companies are afraid of some of these feedback, other companies have really created a feedback section, and they have used artificial intelligence to be able to pick some of the keywords, and then they're able to pick them and then rank them, the number of complaints that customers have made based on these keywords, and that gives them the feedback. In other words, what they do is that the product life cycle, they use it, the package, the distance, they put everything in and they categorize them. So when the feedback comes, it goes into that category. They build a kind of a graph for them to see. So the package, I mean, a number of people have said that it's good. We can improve. This one, they have said this. Now, some other organizations pay a great deal of money to other organizations to do this assessment for them. You are having response from the feedback from the customer free of charge. Why are you not taking advantage of it? That's free of charge. You are not paying for this because people pay for that. Microsoft develops what? What do you call it? Microsoft develops what? A system, and then we'll have to get hackers to hack the system to see whether it is working or not. So you really need to do that. Okay? You really need. All right. So this is very, very important. Let's ensure that as much as possible, we give that ear of, hearing to that customer. So when communicating with customers, the message should not be all about better or lower price. It should be about the value and service you can offer. Okay, and most customers will not call managers or CEOs to provide companies with information, and they would probably be ignored if they did not, or they did. Customers need to feel like they have a voice in the company. They matter. They need to feel that they matter. If they do not have a voice, they are likely to take their business elsewhere. It's as simple as that. The voice provides customers with an outlet for communication. And the method of communication can include customer service, focus groups, interviews, reward programs. I mean, those times when we go to the bank, you see that there's a service rating device there where you have to rate the system, whether they are doing the service, whether they are doing well or not. These things are all very good customer feedbacks that we need. Okay, so the voice of the customer is very, very, and we are saying that you need to listen to and value communication from customers because they are the reason why we exist in the business, and listening to them will help us. Then we can look at marketing goals, right? We can look at marketing goals. So I just wanted you to see what is left. So when we talk about marketing goals, it's about the direction and for your marketing campaign. And without goals, it is impossible to know what you need to be done. Goals need to be long-term, broad enough, and also provide aspiration for what you want to achieve through marketing. And once the goals are established, you need to create specific objectives and plans to help reach your goals, okay? And so, for instance, increasing your market share is one of the main goals. You want to increase it by 20%. It is a goal. Customers are not easily swayed from choosing a product or a service. No. In fact, these days we have customers who are savvy. They want this today, they want it, they don't want it tomorrow. And so getting customers swayed is not something that a contemporary business should be looking at because it is very, very difficult to sway customers. Having a customer choose your unknown product over your competitors' known and trusted product takes a special test of what? A set of circumstances. Despite your goals and brand changing, customers do not always accept change easily. Change is something that it's endemic. It's something that people do not, they are not susceptible to change. We ourselves, if we get used to something, it will take some time to change. An example is that when this mobile interoperability platform came and then it was built, it was expected that people would just move from MTN because MTN was creating problems, Vodafone, they were creating problems, but you are still holding your SIM. You have not changed. And that is what tells you that change is very, very difficult. So the marketing needs to focus on improvement for customer, but it also needs to show advantages in price, quality, and availability. You can set your goals and you can say that your marketing goals is to reduce, increase sales by a certain margin. But increasing sales by a certain margin requires some sort of also quality that has to be maintained, some pricing strategies that have to be maintained, and some volume of product that you have to push through. Okay, all these things are very important. And in order to increase sales from repeat customers, one should, or what we call a repeat sales, one should be very careful, okay, that the goals are set right so that these customers can be retained. Okay, you cannot set very high expectation, okay, and at the end of the day, you hit it once and then the next month you are not able to do that. So you need to see how you wave your way through when it comes to customer, retention. You want to repeat, sales. Now, repeat customers are essential to your business as you can count on them to share your brand with other friends. Okay. Somebody did research, said it's when customers face customer encounter failure, when there's customer encounter failure, they are likely to report that bad experience to about 12 other people. Okay. And then the 12 will also send it to, if they send it to at least one person, you see the multiplying effect. So it is very important that when there's a service encounter failure, you get a feedback from even if the customer is yelling, it tells you that, hey, that is a good feedback. It tells you the extent to which our service has failed and that we need to work on it. And it's important to remember repeat customers on your marketing campaign, especially since you spend less money engaging repeat customers. Repeat purchase requires you to build relationships. We talk about relationship marketing, and fortunately, there are different ways to improve relationship with customers and create repeat purchase, such as outstanding customer service, loyalty programs. We're talking about it, incentive and direct and personal communication or mailing. I've talked about the fact that now we even celebrate birthdays and other things to make sure we are able to maintain the relationship. So how do you deal with your brand champions? So the first thing is draft them. Draft them. 2, interact with them. 3, give them perks. 4, listen to them. Okay, the details are there. I do not want to go further on that, but if you want to do that, let me go back so that you can appreciate it. We are saying here that loyalty customers can turn into brand champions for the company. So loyalty programs can turn into brand champions, and a brand champion provide a word of mouth marketing that will improve the brand and increase the customer base. And that is what we are saying, how to create that brand champion. And say draft them, interact with them. Draft them, we are saying that find satisfied customers who fully understand and appreciate your brand. And then 2, interact with them, thank brand champions for their purchases. And 3, give them perks. Offer brand champions loyalty rewards for what they are doing and listen to them. Champions provide excellent feedback. So understanding the AIDA marketing funnel, a customer takes to purchase your product. And the AIDL funnel stages talks about creating awareness, creating the interest, and then getting, if awareness is created, it's moved to the person having interest in your product. And then there's the desire. And then the final one is the service encounter. That is all the actual sales or the actual purchase of the product. Okay. So finally, marketing must do more appeal to emotions. Therefore, certain marketing method needs to inform and educate customers. The best way to inform customers and educate people about their product is through content. It's through content. Content is provided through different media such as webcasts, blogs, social media, newsletters, and white papers. The content needs to be relevant, interesting, and well-written. When creating content, it is important to focus on one topic at a time. Don't make it clumsy. and use subheading to break up the information. And this is going to afford you the opportunity or afford customers to focus on some small portions of the information. They might not want to read everything. Okay, so this is the AIDA funnel, where we're saying that it's a traditional tool used by marketers as they contain the stages that a customer takes on the way to purchase your product, which I've talked about. So the first one is the awareness. So the first stage of the funnel is awareness, and this stage where the customer is first exposed to the product. And there are different ways that a customer can become aware of the product. For example, a word of mouth creates awareness. Other methods include discovering through communication and successful marketing. Awareness can lead to the next stage of what the funnel, which is why you must do everything possible that you can to ensure that awareness is created. So from there, it moves to the second stage, which is what? Now the interest. So when awareness is positive, interest is generated, interest is developed. And this occurs when the customer actively shows the interest in the product. And there are specific strategies one can use to address that. And specifically, you need a value proposition for the product. That is where you communicate the actual value. Now the interest is there. So you have to create a value proposition by advertising benefits, showing advantages over the competitors and showing how this product will solve customer problems. And when you are able to do that, when you're able to engage that person, then the interest will now develop. And from there, you move to the other stage. And once the customer has developed the interest in the product, now desire is not far behind. Now there's the desire. And at this point, customers aspire to own the brands they are interested in. The key to establishing desire is convincing customers that the brand will satisfy them. And now we are talking about brand. We are not talking about the product, the brand. And because when we sell the product without the brand, then we'll be creating a problem for ourselves. So we are talking about the brand. And this is a good time to offer incentives and samples. You give samples to them. I used to deal in some products and I was giving out samples. I was just, when I've been talked to them, having developed the concepts, explain it to them. The next thing is that, hey, so it does this. I say yes. Then the next thing is to give sample. You should be willing to do that. Most businessmen do not want to invest into samples, especially when it's a product. For a service, you could say that you can come for a service experience. If it's cutting the hair, you can do one as a sample, okay? Because once the person is convinced, it is a done deal. Try providing demonstration that allow customers to see firsthand and how the product will fit their needs. For example, Apple allow customers to try using computer, phone, and tablets in their stores. They do that. I mean, they have samples there. I bought one the last time and they didn't even have one that you can look at. They said that everything we don't have for show, okay, or for preview. How then do I know if the product is? And they didn't care, all right? So action occurs, that's the last stage, when the customer actually purchases the product. So you see how it goes. And customers must be led to action by the marketers, and there are different methods to improve the odds of what the action. These procedures are called call to action. Call to action may be coupons or subscription online. These calls come in the form of banner ads, social interactions, such as Groupon, not including calls to action, is the chief mistake that marketers make when using the marketing funnel. If you don't call to action, when you have done all this, they don't call to action, then it becomes an issue. The person has had the experience, you have given sample, you need to proceed from there. Then now we can talk about the marketing challenges, okay? And that's the last thing we're going to deal with. Now, so practically, it is not easy to convince someone to just buy a product or a service. It takes a lot, especially when people have faced some kind of challenges before in the past, then that becomes what an issue. Now, today, social media is essential to marketing success. Not taking social media seriously will have a dire consequence on your business. And it is necessary to have a presence on social media. Those of you who do not, without it, you will not be able to maintain contact with customers. I joined every group, and I was sharing this with people. Business is about people. People have to buy the product. So why are you not joining groups? Said this group is promiscuous. So what? I need to sell my product to them. Because for me, those groups, when they put anything that's promiscuous, I have the control to delete it. But I can put mine there. I have access if I announce. And when I join group, that's what I do. Well, this is Dr. David Kingboison. This is what I do. I'm happy to be here. And I comment on whatever any person puts on the platform. The idea is to make sure that they know that I'm giving them the likes and all that, so that if I now take their names and their numbers and I put it in a broadcast and I'm just blasting it, they know David Boison was on the platform and he's the one who is sharing. Oh, he's somebody who is even respond to my message. Most of you are online. You don't comment on anything. You have a Facebook account. People are celebrating their birthday and you do not say anything. They are watching so that when you have issue, they will also not comment. And that's why when you post something, you don't have likes. Others have about 10,000 or 20,000 likes. You don't, just because you do not follow others, so they will not follow you. And social media can be very effective to sell to a number of people from around the world. And that is why you need to do that. And you know, we are now not doing local business. It's a global business, because if I'm selling a product, I can ship it through EMS or DHL to other people. So when I put something there, it is for the global world. Okay, so this is very, very important. Another aspect to consider while establishing social media presence, ensuring that you open a two-way communication with customers so that you can have feedback. And that's why people now use the service of robots, and they configure some frequently asked questions and how they want to deal with it, so that the robot will deal with, unless there's a question that will require a deeper understanding, where the robot will say, wait for me, maybe I'll give you a feedback tomorrow. If your newsletters offers 90-day product return policy, your social media must convey that same message and follow the same policy. Okay, so the social media is there today, and the challenge is that people are not adapted to that. Most businesses do not even have an official page. They don't have a YouTube channel, but that's where the people are. And I did some statistics, and I don't have it yet. I would have shown to you the number of people who are on Facebook, okay, and the fact that you can reach out, if you even get 0.001% of such people, well, you are in big business. Now, so that becomes a challenge to people. Another challenge to marketers is defining and communicating the unique selling position, the USP, the unique selling position. And this is a message that shows consumers how your product is unique and satisfy customers. People have problem communicating that, and not having the USP is a common marketing mistake. So what is your unique selling position? Fortunately, you can create USP by answering some few questions. One, what are your unique factors of the brand? What are the factors unique? What makes your brand unique? And what factors separate you from your competitors? And the last one is, what factors are important to your customers? So if you look at it, factors unique to your brand, then what separates you from your competitors, and what is important to the customer. If you're able to do that, then you are able to sell your unique selling position. You're able to sell, send it across. Now, the answers to these questions are used to create a unique service unique service position. And the final step is choosing the correct media and sharing this USP. And let me indicate that And let me read this aspect. So the risks, conducting business on international level has its own risks, right? And the risk comes from the translation of names and content and the problems that can come from what? Mistranslation on colloquial meanings. You know, there's a translation software that people get into it, but with the French language, for instance, translation sometimes has to deal with cultural settings and some position that the person has already taken. It is not that straight. So this becomes a problem when probably somebody wants to mean no harm, and turns out that the translation, you didn't get the appropriate translation factory in the cultural issues, and then will send that message across, that which will not really serve the interests of your customers. So that is also a challenge. Translation may be offensive or inaccurate, as I said. For example, an Italian mineral water trafficant means drug dealer in Spain. Cross-cultural translation can limit the effectiveness of campaign, and even if the mistakes are corrected, therefore the process is costly. Even if they correct it, that is there. So on social media, we have that challenge. Okay, so we are saying that what you can do to deal with some of these things: set first, identify your target market, identify your unique aspect of the product and the differentiation, compare with competition, establish price, and communicate what? Your brand. Okay, this is something you should do, I mean, as one of the precursors to address those challenges that you are having. Now, so marketing will never be successful unless you manage to build a relationship with your customer, you build your brand, etc., etc. Without a relationship, it is impossible to earn what? Trust. And most people patronize our product not because sometimes the product is good, too good. Is the fact that they have built that trust through our brand equity. In our fast-paced society, building relationship is not always the focus of marketing. Relationships, however, are essential, and they can only be created by interaction and dialogue. You have heard about network marketing, which is relationship marketing. Unfortunately, some people, instead of using network marketing to build relationship, they use it rather to dupe people, and has given network marketing a certain negative effect. But I mean, the idea was that if Winnie trusts me and I get into a certain business, then Winnie can just join me to do that business. But it turned out that I'm not able to communicate the real intent of the business, to tell Winnie the truth. Winnie puts her money in, and then it turns out that she's not able to recoup it back. And that becomes something that creates a serious backlash for the business. So to build relationship, a person to build relationship, well, try to get to know the customer online, and then engage in the dialogue through social media and answer questions. I've said that respond to emails and treat each customer as an individual. Before embarking on marketing campaign, you must have a plan. In fact, you should make plans for every aspect of the business. Surprisingly, not having a plan is a common marketing mistake. And many businesses owners just throw money at different marketing mistakes, which is what? Marketing promotions or strategies which are not effective. So this mistake can be remedied by creating a plan which could have the following elements. I think that is what I talked about earlier. So that plan, the first one is to identify your targets markets, identify your unique aspect of the product and differentiation, compare with competitors, establish price, and communicate your brand. So this, what I explain later, is related to creating your marketing plan. Okay, that is what it is. So we're going to end here, and let me just read this thing to you. Now, true marketing success will be apparent in the metrics such as leads per month, sales per lead, source or conversation rate. It says true marketing success will be apparent in the metrics such as leads per month, the leads you get per month, and the marketing leads are those customers that you bring into the business per month, and sales per lead. So each lead, that's marketing leads that you brought, okay, the sales per lead, and source or conversation rate. You want to know the extent to which you have interacted. So marketing success should not simply be assumed. True marketing success will be apparent in the matrix. Many marketers, however, do not bother on track matrix. This mistake prevents the marketers from adjusting the plan, and that will increase the return on investment and improve sales. So the metrics that need to be monitored will vary from one media and platform to another, and what to be used. And there are, however, basic metrics that physically need to be monitored, such as the lead source, the lead per month, the sales per lead source, the conversion rate, the cost per lead, and the return on investment. Somebody will ask, why is marketing bringing accounting in? It's very, very important. You need to know the return on the investment that you have made into those promotion, those marketing plan. What is the return that we are getting? What is the demand that we have got as a result of that money that we invested into the marketing plan? That is very, very important. Okay, that is very, very important. So to conclude about the challenges, by this time you should know that understanding customers is essential to the success of marketing. Many companies, however, still make the mistake of not listening to them. And marketing that is only based on information will not fly. And we are saying that, fortunately, it's always possible to improve listening skills while communicating with customers. So you have to do this. First, give undivided attention to customers. Pay attention to keywords and write them down. Do not interrupt or become emotional. Do not, I think it was repeated, interrupt and become emotional. Then do not make assumptions. The customer start talking, you say, I know what you're talking about. I know. We don't do that. You don't know. Listen. Even if you know, listen to the customer. Rephrase and repeat information for clarity. So what did you say? So what did you mean? You would want clarity so that you're able to address that need. I mean, very well, because now you understand what you are doing. I want to thank you for your time, and then let's move to the question aspects. Thank you so much.